Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Exploitation Nation USA. I named it that because I know and I believe in my heart just about everything in America has been exploited all over the nation. I'm talking sex, drugs, rock and roll, money, gold, silver, children, women, men, all kinds of things. Now, I have a story that I've been trying to tell. And when I try to email somebody and tell them what's going on, it turns into a disaster. A total disaster. And I hate it. My assumption is, if somebody wanted to talk to me, they could just call me. I mean, you're able to call somebody with a phone number that's blocked or hidden or, you know, but to try to go and explain it all in an email is stupid. Now, I don't have one of those ring lights. I got a fish tank light. But that's what we're going to use in a mirror. So, my story is pretty long. It's too long to try to explain in an email. I mean, it's just not possible. And then, I'm dyslexic. So, when I write, and when I'm in writing mode, I'm trying to find the best lighting. Let me see. Maybe this is good. I don't know. I'm dyslexic. So, when I'm writing for, let's say, my book, every sentence I write, every paragraph, I have to redo it like 5 times. Seriously. I have to check the grammar. I have to check the spelling, the pronunciation properly, all of it. I have to get my adjectives and my nouns right and the direction the story's going, and I never know when it's gonna just take off in a different direction because I also have ADHD. But when you're working with English, you can create all kinds of things, all kinds of stories. So when I send out texts or emails, sometimes it looks like a crazy effing mess. It is. It looks distorted. It looks disrupted. It looks stupid. But I don't edit. I don't have time to edit my texts. I don't have time to edit my emails. So, my assumption was just a simple phone call. I could have explained it. Everything be left good. But that's not what I got. Some people just, like, I've talked to one person on YouTube, and that's fine. My bangs have got kind of long. Maybe I should pull my hair back while I try to talk to you. Hold on. Did you see my little dog? This is my little baby. She's so sweet, baby. Her name is Zoe. She's a sweetheart. She's my little angel baby. She's a tiny little thing. So, I try to pull my hair back, get it out of my eyes, but I love you too, baby. I love you too. I love you too, little pets are so important to us. They keep us sane. So I've tried. I've tried to talk about my life and my situation. I went on a channel one time and talked about it and ended up just, when it got to the serious parts of it, I had a panic attack and started coughing and ran out of the room, and they were busy hollering and saying somebody call an ambulance, and I'm like, it's just a panic attack. My son got on for me and said my mom's all right. She's just kind of struggling with these issues, and it is a struggle. What I've lived through and what I've survived is um, almost a movie. It's almost unbelievable, but it's the truth. And I wouldn't get on here and try to sell you a bunch of bull, a bunch of lies, a bunch of crap. Um, my story involves some very, very, very famous people. My story involves some really corrupt things. Really. My story involves, sorry, my neck kind of got. Alright, I put you on hold again because I had to readjust. I don't have a tripod. Um, my story involves a lot of corruption. Um, my grandfather was a mason, and right across the street from the mason building was a bank. The bank they tried to blame Bonnie and Clyde for robbing. The bank that Bonnie and Clyde's cohorts or conspiracy, whatever, they're not conspiracies. It's the truth. Running mates, buddies, in cahoots with, um, robbed that bank, okay? But what people don't know is the real story. I just cut about 6 inches off my hair, so I'm not used to it. The real story of what happened. That the lady that adopted me, and I was left in an orphanage, and as the story goes, and I've met him, I'm a bastard kid of a famous rock and roll singer and his girl who went and made it famous. So that's not what I'm here about. I don't care. What I'm here about is what my grandfather did and what my crazy adopted mother did after the fact of what my grandfather did. So as the bank is being robbed, it was a diversion of what was going on the inside. Now, my grandfather robbed the bank in 1932. My mother was born in the 40s. I was born in the 60s. Now, this town didn't change much. It is a wealthy town. Still is a wealthy town. extremely wealthy. And my grandfather's house has been redone. It was the last one on the whole neighborhood to be bought and redone. They put $1 million into the house. Now I was supposed to inherit that house, but because I didn't hand over a $5,000 tax at the age of 19 to my mother, she took it away from me. She did horrible things to me. But she has since passed, and before she died, she came and told me that my best friend, my sweetheart, had been calling for 22 years. See, she forced us apart. Every time he called, she would lie to him. She threatened to ruin his career. I think she played a hand in him getting fired from his company. Um, but I didn't call him back. Oh, I had I got so frustrated at what was going on and the way I was being treated for so long. I had to escape these people. And I couldn't find Steve. Steve is his name. And I was Steve Jobs' sweetheart. I was between Maureen Jobs and Chris Ann. Now, I did everything I could. It's a long story and I've wrote it out. I'm not going to go into detail right here. But before my mom died, she said Steve's been calling for 22 years, and I just was like horrified that she had lied to me and that she had lied to Steve, and she felt she needed to clear her soul before she died, and that Steve Jobs wanted me to call him. Well, anytime you have a boyfriend or a sweetheart and you've left off and you haven't seen each other, you pick back up where you left off. And there were children involved. And we had made plans to stay together no matter what. And we were forced apart. And it was done in a bad and brutal way on my mother's behalf. Because my grandfather had robbed the bank. And my mother had the money, the gold. Now by that point, she had converted it. She had given it to a very famous lady who had so much money that taking in the gold wasn't going to matter. It wasn't going to affect her financially. But I ran off and married a neighbor boy. Big mistake. Nothing in common. The whole time I was sitting with him, I was always thinking about Steve. Even my wedding day, I wanted to run out the church. Big Christmas wedding. People there that I didn't even really feel were good people. They weren't. I stood in the back of the church just horrified at what I was doing and scared to death because my mom had spent so much money on this elaborate Christmas wedding. So Steve called to say he had made it and he wanted me to call. and that he had a wife and kids. And I was just speechless to my mother, other than the screaming and the yelling I did all the way out the door. So there were things that I hadn't told Steve, but he knew what my mother had been doing to me. But I didn't tell him all of it. Because he raced over to our house and threatened to throw my mom in jail. She'd already been being threatened by a couple of doctors of mine. And my story is about how and what they did to me to shut me up over the fact my grandfather was friends, acquaintance, I don't know, maybe they did an inside job involving Bonnie and Clyde. But the whole experience caused like an epiphany. There went that. An epiphany with my grandfather to, let's say, be more self aware of his conscience, of his good side, the fear of going to hell, and the fear of the funeral home directors, the people who bury you. Look back there. It's a little Halloween stuff going on here. So, my grandfather hid the money in the attic. And eventually they hid it in the garage. And eventually they brought it home. And eventually they got it to New York. And eventually they got it converted. Now by this time I'm 12. 11, 12. And that's where they try to exploit me more. This very rich woman offers the opportunity for me to either come live in New York and be in the media world, or go to California and be in the Disney world of movies. So, since I was dyslexic and my writing looked like shit, which now I've made it through 3 college Englishes, all my school English. I read 67 Stephen King books, 37 Sandra Brown books, and 16 Anne Rule books to teach me how to be a better writer. Uh, I've been told some very good things about my writing. But what I want to make clear is if I send you an email and it looks like fucking hillbilly shit, it's okay. I'm quite educated. Now, I want to start coming on here and making more sense of what I'm writing. I want to try to expose some of it. My kid's always like, better not. People will try to steal it and make their own story. Well, they can try, but they'll never have the original. There's things that I just haven't told. The reason I haven't told, because they used to drug me, beat me, and lock me up. Just like the last time they did, the day Steve left and the last day I saw him. Now, when I say lock me up with deadbolts, I'm talking keyed deadbolts. In the house, there was no normal locks, only deadbolts. I'd been enduring this, along with all the alcohol, all the Valium, and all the beatings, since I could walk. What's been done to me hasn't been fair. And they say life's not fair. Well, that's true. I'm proof of it. Life hadn't been fair. And I was just going to wait till Steve's kids grew up to call him back because I didn't want to be splattered all over the media as busting up Steve Jobs' marriage. I heard he had cancer on the TV, and I was praying for him. But the next thing I heard was he died. And then there was a media frenzy. And then a lot of stuff happened. And I figured nobody'd hear my voice. But I've let enough time pass. The children have mourned. The wife has gotten a new boyfriend. She's got enough money to keep her busy for the rest of her life. And I have a story to tell. And it involves Daryl Abbott of Pantera, Steve Jobs, Matthew McConaughey, Bonnie and Clyde, my grandfather Clint, this famous lady who had some genes, and I don't want to go any further. Now, if you're mad at me, or you think I'm just stupid as hell, I'm not. You could have called me, but I understand. YouTube can bring about some unnecessary followers or haters or oh my neck. I was hit by a drunk driver, so I live with the pain off and on that comes every day. But there was no way I was trying to hurt you. I know you offered to help me, but out of all sincerity, I mean, I thought, really, if you can't call me, I can't hand over my life story and trust because I felt you mistrusted me first. But there wasn't any mistrust on my side. I think you're a wonderful lady. You got a great channel. And I look forward to listening to you because you're smart, you're bright, you're witty, you tell the news in a great way. Um, Thanks, Shelley. I'm going to try to get on here once or twice a week, maybe 3 times. I don't know. I'm never going to get up and walk around and show you my house. That's not what it is. But I hope you subscribe to my channel and you, whoever you are, wherever you're from, you're always welcome. Now I don't have Streamlabs, so I'm not doing lives. I don't have 1,000 people. If you hate me from some previous episodes, if I walked away from you, it's probably overwhelming. I had a lot going on. A lot. I'm better at not jacking with my hair as much, but I miss it being 6 inches longer. It's just a lot to take care of. So I wish everyone well. I hope everyone's doing wonderful. I'm sorry the world is causing hurt and pain and struggle. Sometimes we just have to kiss the world and hope it gets better. Kiss the world and make it better. Alright. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you again and telling you a little bit more about my grandfather robbing the bank. Now, if you haven't watched The Highwaymen on Netflix, I highly advise you go watch it. Woody Harrelson does the most incredible job of capturing the soul and the spirit of integrity that had to come down. I just wish I knew more stories. Possibly my grandfather hanging out in back dives and what was said with Bonnie and Clyde. Or what wasn't said. Maybe he was a total enemy. I don't know. I know my grandfather was one of those little men, like they show you in the movie of Bonnie and Clyde. They're little people. My uncle was a little person. They're not midgets. They're just petite. My grandfather was a very dapper Dan, very highly revered in the town. What are you doing, Zoe? Come here and say bye. Come here. Oh, she's got herself perched in an area that if I twist and turn to try to get her. Say bye. Can you say bye, baby? Look. Bye, baby. Bye. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye. We can turn this off.